I found Japan's most insane Nintendo collection, and it was located in a top secret location. We're talking priceless treasures signed by legends of the gaming industry. Let's explore the mysteries behind 84 Hashi, a secret Nintendo bar owned by former Nintendo engineer Toru Hashimoto, or as many call him, Chokan. The name 84 Hashi, technically just pronounced Hashi, is a reference to the year Chokan joined Nintendo, 1984, as well as a reference to the final level of Super Mario Bros. 8-4. Hashi refers to the owner Chokan's name, Toru Hashimoto. But just who is Chokan? Well, he's an engineer that joined Nintendo back in 1984 as part of the Super Mario Club, which is basically just another name for their debugging/quality control team. During his time there, Chokan worked on some of Nintendo's most beloved titles. We're talking Pokemon Red and Green, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, Mother 2 or Earthbound, Yoshi's Island, the original Animal Crossing, Giftpia, the list goes on. Needless to say, this guy's a legend. The cafe itself is located in a top secret location, meaning the actual address is never revealed to the customer. They literally have you meet 10 minutes outside the building, where someone will then escort you to the final location. It's crazy. All to maintain the secrecy and magic of Hashi. Once you finally arrive, you'll be met with a room jam-packed full of original signed Nintendo artwork, plushies, toys, rare strategy guides, basically anything you can imagine. Needless to say, I was in heaven. It is hands down the coolest place I've ever been to in Japan, and that's saying something. For the next 90 or so minutes, you can order drinks, eat snacks, stare at mind-blowingly rare Nintendo stuff, and best of all, talk to Chokan. The very same woman that guides you to the building is also a super sweet and talented translator. Her name is Hirolyn, and she will gladly help anyone overcome any language barriers. Thanks to her, I was able to spend over an hour talking to Chokan about Doshin the Giant, Tulip, Moon, Ribbit King, and all sorts of other obscure games. I actually showed him a Moon book I bought an hour before arriving to the cafe, and he happened to have the same exact one on his bookshelf. Look at this. We got the same one. Of course, he's friends with the game's developers, so his book was all decked out in autographs from the frickin' dev team. Chokan has mentioned how his goal in creating Hashi was to bring people together from all over the world to eat, drink, and share stories about Nintendo games and how they've affected their lives. He describes it as a sort of real-life save point, which I thought was a pretty cool way to put it. When it originally opened back in 2015, Hashi was only open to members of the gaming industry. That's why you'll see so much cool autographed video game artwork on the walls. Those people were actually there in the cafe drinking and drawing and having a good time. Eventually though, in 2021, Hashi opened up to the public as a sort of members-only reservation-based cafe. Why was it members-only, you may be asking? Well, the answer is honestly pretty wholesome. Chokan has said that he's just a pretty shy guy, and this helps kind of tone down the foot traffic of each visit. But it also helps make the experience more intimate and meaningful, and honestly, I kind of prefer it that way. We'll take a look at Chokan's wall of treasures soon enough, but first, I gotta go pee. On my way to the toilet, I stumbled upon what can only be described as a sort of Mother 2 shrine. There were notes and drawings from the game's creators and even a photo of Chokan and Shigesato Itoi hanging out together back in the day. Itoi, by the way, is the creator of Earthbound, one of the greatest RPGs of all time. So freaking cool. Oh yeah, there was also a big box complete copy of Earthbound just chilling up in the rafters, not even 5 feet away from the toilet. A $3,000 game just chilling there, practically out of sight. It was crazy. Insane. You would think it stops there, but it just keeps on going. Once you open the bathroom door, you'll see another signed Mother 2 poster, as well as dozens of famous signatures covering the bathroom walls. One of my favorite signatures was from Zelda manga artist Akira Himekawa. Does anybody else remember these books? I used to read them all the time as a kid. They were sick. I'm assuming every single autograph here is somebody important, and I'm assuming that because some random guy tried to put his name on the wall last year and they put his autograph in jail and made an example out of him. If anyone can identify any of the other autographs here, please let me know. I'm really curious. After finishing my business, I noticed everyone gathering around the bar area. They were discussing a particular legendary Pokemon rumor. You may have heard of it.
Oh, it's real.
Speaking of Pokemon, the woman who created Hashi's mascot character is named Atsuko Nishida, the same person who created Pikachu. Chokan really does seem to know everybody in the gaming industry. If you open up this mascot store, you'll find a little smoking room disguised as a telephone booth. But look a little closer behind the glass here and you'll see a Space Channel 5 Part 2 store display standee. But this is no coincidence. Chokan also worked on this game as well. I'm telling you man, dude's a legend. Another cool store display sign he had was this Famicom Disk System sign. Famicom. This thing is almost 40 freaking years old. It's honestly impressive to have any sort of Japanese store display because they're so hard to get. They just don't give them out like they do in America. I don't even honestly know how you're supposed to get them. Obscure video games were common topics of conversation throughout the night, and eventually, we ended up talking about Doshin the Giant. Again, unsurprisingly, a game Chokon worked on, the first and the second one. Chokon then showed me some of his rare Doshin the Giant strategy guides, and said I was one of the first guests to ever notice his Doshin stuff.
すごい。
I think you're one of the first guests that noticed Doshi.
No way.
I thought that was pretty cool to hear. At this point, I think it's time to finally take a closer look at Chokon's personal collection. This is where things get crazy. This display case here houses some of Chokon's favorite pieces. Can you guess what they are? Time's up. They're the Panasonic Q and this Mother 2 Zippo lighter. This lighter is super rare, by the way, and he even has the Mother 2 staff exclusive jacket. This was only given out to members of the Mother 2 dev team. It's insane that this guy earned the jacket and didn't just go buy it on eBay like anybody else would have to. Throughout the cafe are a bunch of shelves filled with trinkets, toys, books, knickknacks, and photographs. But each item seemed to be meticulously placed and had a story behind it. I mean, come on, dude's even got a photo with Shigeru Miyamoto. One of the first things I was drawn to in this room was the signed Ribbit King artwork. Now, I'm a pretty big Ribbit King fan. It's a super slept on game. If you haven't played it, you gotta try it. By coincidence, my girlfriend had also recently drawn a piece of Ribbit King art, and Chokon thought it was so cool he actually snapped a photo of it. What an honor. Looking at this wall, not only were the autographs themselves impressive, but the fact that every single person that signed them was at one point in this room was just insane to think about. I was standing in the same room as dozens of gaming greats. Pokemon, Mario, Zelda, Kirby, any childhood game you can imagine, somebody that had a part in those games probably stood in this room. Signed Shigeru Miyamoto original Mario artwork, signed Wind Waker, Link eating some Hashi rice. Oh yeah, and you cannot forget about Tingle. How about this? An original pencil sketch score of the original Super Mario Bros. Theme signed by Koji Kondo. You know, do-do-do-do-do-do, the classic Mario tune. This thing was here written in pencil, the original freaking piece. Mind-blowing. Somehow, each piece one-ups the last. And for those Pokemon fans out there, check out this giant pile of rare Pokemon plushies, signed original Shadow Lugia art, and this original Pikachu drawing signed by Pokemon legends like Sugimori and Masuda. Oh, you don't like Pokemon Zelda or Mario for some reason? Okay, we get it, you want to be different. But they got you covered. Signed Toro art, Ribbit King, Kero King, Mega Man, Undertale, Street Fighter 2, Eco, and original signed Moon artwork. This was one of my favorites, by the way. I'm just imagining these guys chilling at Hashi, drinking some beers, and cooking up some masterpieces for the autograph wall. It's so cool to think about. Sadly, all good things must come to an end, and eventually our 90-minute time slot was up. But I'm not exaggerating when I say that was probably the best 90 minutes I've ever had in Japan. It's a one-of-a-kind experience that I'd highly recommend to anyone, even if you're not the most hardcore Nintendo fan. I want to give a huge shout out to Chokon and his staff for having us and creating a super memorable experience. We will definitely be returning. Oh yeah, let me mention the Hashi passport real quick. This bad boy is only given out to people who are lucky enough to attend Hashi. And it's even got a spot for stamps, so every time you go you can collect a new stamp just like a real passport. And Chokon will sign it with a new note each time. It's a really cool little detail that he doesn't have to do, but it makes the visit that much more special. But do not lose this bad boy because it acts as your membership and lets you come back again for another visit. Thank you all for watching, go check out Hashi, and remember, it's a secret to everybody.